What's up, everybody? Just jumping on here live. So, for the people that come in here later on, uh, go ahead and give my quick thoughts until people start filtering in about the Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao fight. To be honest with you, I caught the tail end of it. Wasn't able to watch the full fight, but from what I saw from round like six until the end, I'll give you guys my thoughts on it and a little bit about my overall thoughts in regards to Manny Pacquiao. For someone that has been involved in boxing for a long time, starting this YouTube journey, talking about boxing since 2009, back when Pacquiao was in his prime, the whole Pacquiao Mayweather, I got to say, man, it's incredible to see this man still in the ring, you know, fighting in a professional match. And to his credit, he's not fighting any scrubs. He's not fighting, retired up fighters or fighting guys his age. He was in there against a guy, Mario Barrios, who has been in there with the likes of Keith Thurman and Tank Davis, and he's been a name in boxing. So I have to give credit where credit's due, man. This guy's still doing it. He looked in phenomenal shape for his age, and you can tell that he loves boxing. And he still has the desire, kind of like George Foreman, when he came back all those years ago when nobody thought he could. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, about Manny Pacquiao, as if people continue to filter in. And if you guys just joining, make sure you hit that like button because, officially, your boy Divine Sense is back in the building, making these live streams and talking about boxing again. So just do me a favor and smash that like button. Um, Trying to get familiar with this live on YouTube stuff. Yep. Okay. So yeah, let me talk about the fight from what I saw. I watched it from round six until the end. If you don't know, you're just coming in. It was a majority draw. So one judge gave it to Barrios, 115, 113, and then two judges scored it a draw, 114. Um, I can't honestly give you my honest opinion in regards to the scorecards because I didn't watch the whole fight, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch the first 5 rounds. But from what I saw, from 6 to 12, it didn't seem to me that there was one fighter that had a clear edge. And I can see based off of 6 to 12 that this seems like a fight that could be a draw. So going to the scorecards, I kind of had that feeling. I Let me talk a little bit about Mario Barrios a little bit. You know, I think the guy has a lot of heart. I think he tries his best. I think at one point in time he, was a contender. He was able to make some noise in boxing, but I just don't know if he ever fully recovered from the Keith Thurman loss, from the Tank Davis knockout, and he never striked me as a fighter that had at least one thing that you're like, yeah, this one thing can get him to the championship level. You know, I guess in a way, kind of well rounded, and he's good enough to be in the ring with these names, but he just doesn't have enough weapons in his arsenal to take him to the next level. And in past fights, he's had punch resistance issues. He's been totally outclassed with fighters that were way faster than him, more athletic to him. We fought Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman was just faster, more athletic, um, and so he struggles to find something like if you're not athletic, you're not fast, or you don't have superior boxing skill. You need to kind of be like Julio Cesar Chavez, senior, someone like that who wasn't the most athletic, but would you know, just wear and tear his opponent down and chip away and put water in the basement, beat you up over a long fight, go to the body effectively. And you got to find something that if you don't have the attributes of, like I said, classic boxing skill, defensive ability, uh, you know, power, athleticism. If you don't have those attributes, which are very, very important in boxing, then you got to be rugged, you got to be tough, and you got to be able to go to the body effectively. Um, and I just never seen that from Mario Barrios in his career. And here we are. Like, yeah, he gets the nod. Essentially, he's able to keep his belt against Manny Pacquiao, who is like 16 years older than him. And once again, it shows. Like, and I'm not trying to discredit Mario Barrios in the sense that like Manny Pacquiao fought a scrub. I'm just saying, like, nothing has changed in regards to Mario Barrios, right? He was a valuable opponent considering the fact that Manny Pacquiao was so much older, and he does have a decent resume. So it's like, all right, yeah, let's see what Manny Pacquiao can do against Mario Barrios. Like, I totally get it, but I'm not that shocked. I'm not that surprised because Manny Pacquiao has lived the life of a very healthy individual. He stayed disciplined going into his 40s. He didn't let his body go. He kept his mind sharp. He stayed in the gym. And for his age, he's super fit. He's probably he's the top 2%, in the world at his age in regards to fitness. And of course he has the boxing experience to be able to go in the ring and fight a guy who's 16 years young. But you would think that Mario Barrios, with that huge age discrepancy, you should be at least at the later rounds be able to do some significant damage. Like for me, I didn't see, um, or I should say, Manny Pacquiao for sure has lost some of his reflexes. He doesn't have the same speed as he once had. He doesn't have the super quick footwork like he once had. Um, and out of all the fighters that Manny Pacquiao fought or could have fought, Mario Barrios is that guy who was not going to capitalize on that. That's the crazy thing, right? Because I can think of a lot of other boxers who may have a better or even worse resume than Mario Barrios, but if they're just a little bit faster, if they have a little bit more power, if they have a little bit more of uh, a willingness to fight and get deep into a fight, they should have been able to beat Manny Pacquiao. Um, so I just think that it just worked out. It worked out for Manny Pacquiao, man, to be able to go up against a guy like that. And I know that may sound harsh to the Manny Pacquiao fans out there, but it is what it is. Like I said earlier, when I first went live, is that I give Manny Pacquiao a lot of credit, man. Not a lot of people are going to be able to at that age. I mean, the guy's pushing 50 to be able to step in the ring and go 12 rounds like that. So I got a lot of respect for him, and I've always respected Pacquiao as a fighter since I've been talking about boxing for the past shit. What are we going on now? 15 years or whatever it is. Um, so so yeah. Anybody that's live in the chat right now, if you can just give me a thumbs up or a salute, because I'm not sure if this live chat is working. It's not showing up on my screen because I don't know if people are giving thoughts or asking questions, and I don't want to miss anything. So if you can just give me a thumbs up, let me know you're in the building, and that way I can know that this live chat is working. Okay. I see you, GG champ. Appreciate you. All right, cool. So it is working. All right, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I know a lot of people are going live right now, obviously. So for those of you who do step in, I appreciate you. At the very least, double jab that like button for me before you leave. And feel free to give your thoughts in the chat. I will be making a proper post fight video about Alexander Usyk as well. That fight I did watch, wasn't able to go live right away, unfortunately. But man, that guy's making a case, bro. Usyk is making a case of being an all-time great. I mean, heavyweight, even though he's got the belts at cruiserweight as well. Crazy. I mean, Usyk just every time I feel like I don't know, man. Maybe he's reached his peak. Maybe there's gonna be, this is where he's gonna plateau. He goes in there and like knocks a dude out. It's crazy. But like I said, I'll be making a full video about that because I feel like Usyk deserves it. And who knows, I will open a panel up potentially as well. Because looking at the landscape of heavyweights right now, like Usyk is untouchable, absolutely untouchable right now. So I'd like to hear other people's thoughts on that. But to stick on the topic at hand, um, I know that Pacquiao fans would have loved to see Manny Pacquiao get a victory tonight. I know they would have loved to see him knock out Mario Barrios. I mean, shit, I wouldn't have minded to see it either. I mean, it would have, as a boxing fan, that would have been incredible. But if I'm honest, I never expected that to happen. I never expected Pacquiao to knock Mario Barrios out. I never expected him to perform at this like God-given amazing level. I know that anytime Pacquiao, rather he's 21 or 46, he's going to step into the ring and he's going to give it his all. And that I know, that I have no doubt. And you can see that he wanted to win tonight. I think he did his best. I don't think that Pacquiao was in there just to get a paycheck. I think he went in there to try to win tonight. I honestly do believe that. But you can see the age. You know what I mean? And a guy, myself, who is pushing 40, I know what's up. I know what it is, man. And it's simple. Like, you may think that you're moving a certain way. You may think that you're punching a certain way. You may think that, oh, I'm still strong, I'm still fast. But all you got to do, and you got to be careful of having a bunch of yes men around you. People that are just always going to uplift you no matter how old you get or how shitty you look. And Pacquiao definitely has that. So we got to be real about that. But nowadays, all you got to do is just look back at past videos of just 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and you can see it, right? You can see that you're not as fast as you're not as sharp, you're not as strong. And in boxing, reflexes are everything. So, you know, any other fighter who has a killer instinct that has no problem knocking out a legend like Manny Pacquiao, who had a bit more speed, a little bit more just tenacity, a bit more tenacious. Uh, it could have been a really ugly night for Pacquiao, and I'm just keeping it real. Mario Barrios was that perfect opponent. He's a good dancing partner for what it is. He's not gonna really try to knock you out. That's not his style. It's not who he is as a fighter. Um, he'll go 12 rounds with you. He's durable, But as I was saying earlier, he doesn't have any attribute that makes him stand out, that gives him the edge. And that's why he's Mario Barrios. And that's why when he's had opportunities to step up and win a major belt, he's come up short, And if he wasn't tough, he probably wouldn't be anything. right? Like, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Um, what's up, Mr. Fist? Yeah, bro. Like, I saw that too. There was a lot of hesitation, and that's the thing, man. See, when we get these older fighters that come in the ring, it happened with Bernard Hopkins. It happened with George Foreman. It happened now with. You can even argue with Mayweather, right? We don't really know. When he fought Conor McGregor, a lot of people were saying that Conor McGregor was taking it easy on Mayweather and all this shit. Which I mean, I'd rather he was or wasn't. I think that Mayweather would always win that fight. But my point is that you never really know, right? It's the only time that I can remember clearly where, because I'm much older, is where an older fighter was in the ring, either coming back or just hasn't retired yet, and then his opponent didn't care and just tried to take his head off. Um, was when Mike Tyson fought Larry Holmes. And Larry Holmes was way past his prime, and Muhammad Ali went into the ring and whispered in Tyson's ear, "Yo, get him for me," because earlier years before that, Larry Holmes had beat Muhammad Ali when Muhammad Ali was way past his prime, right? And we know what happened. Mike Tyson took Holmes out. And yeah, there was a lot of respect afterwards, and they hugged, they embraced each other, and Mike Tyson always spoke very highly of Larry Holmes then and even after his career. Um, but that's about it. And yeah, that's another one. Um, Terry Norris. Yeah, when he smashed when Sugar Ray was way past his prime. Exactly. But a lot of other times, um, Nulek, uh, how you doing? And Horton, I see you, man. Um, yeah, but otherwise, man, you never really know. It's are they really pulling the trigger? Is there too much respect? Are they just trying to get a decision? And like watching today's fight was kind of like a sparring match. It reminded me of going into the boxing gym and you got the OG, you got the Unk, right? He's like 45, still fit for his age. He's been around the block. He's got a lot of experience and he's fighting one of those young guns, 22, 23, that's clearly like way faster, stronger, got youth on his side. And Unk is giving it all that he can, but you can kind of tell that young gun is just taking a little bit off of his punches and out of respect, out of respect for the OG, and just making it a sparring match. That's how I felt. With that being said, Mario Barrios is still not that guy though for me. He's not that guy that even if he said, "Fuck Pacquiao, I'm going to try to knock him out." He doesn't have that skill set anyway. So there was no real threat to me. I mean, when they announced the fight, like in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, politically, it makes sense. If Pacquiao is going to come back, Mario Barrios is the perfect opponent to fight because technically he does have a belt and he can, Pacquiao can be champion again. And Mario Barrios is a good dancing partner. The likelihood of it going 12 rounds is very high because Mario Barrios, even when he wins fights, it's usually going 12 or 11 or whatever. Um, and he's not a knockout artist. He doesn't have the skills or attributes to be a massive threat to Pacquiao to end the fight early. And if it does end early, it'll probably be because Pacquiao was just way out of shape and he's too old. But I wasn't worried about that. I knew Pacquiao at the very least would have the engine to go 12 as long as Barrios plays within that realm of we're just boxing. We're not trying to knock each other out. We're just in here boxing. It's a sparring match. Um, which I don't know. It's risky because you got a majority draw. Two judges scored a draw. If Barrios would have fucked around just a little bit more, he would have lost that fight. That's the funny thing. So yeah. What's up, Crook? I see you in the building. Mm. Red 4. What's up, bro? What's good with you? Yeah, those in the chat right now, let me know, like, what do you think about the decision? Do you think it was a justified decision? Did it make sense? Do you think Pacquiao should have got the nod? Do you think Barrios should have got a more clear decision? For me, I think the decision makes sense more or less. It watching the fight, like, it's, yeah, this is a draw. This is a draw fight. There's no clear winner. There's no, you know what I'm saying? There's no one guy that's, even if the edge is slight, there's still an edge. Like, I just didn't see any of that. It's just a couple jabs landed here and there by both guys. Nobody's really throwing any combinations. Nobody's dedicating to the body. There's just no pure, clear indication. I think Barrios did what he had to do in that 12th round because his corner was pleading with him to pull his head out of his ass. And to his corner's credit, like, they kept saying, yo, like, respect out the window, bro. Like, you may lose this fight basically if you don't do something. Put your foot down, sit down on your punches. And another thing about Barrios is like I said earlier, I think he's been mentally affected by previous fights. If you look back at Mario Barrios' career before he, faced Keith Thurman and Tank Davis, uh, he was a solid young fighter. He was a guy that kind of jumped up in the ranks quite quickly. He was more tenacious. He had a better body attack. He just had a bit of a better package. But then once he took some L's and took some damage, and I believe me, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he in a fight had his orbital bone broken. Um, and so since that time, he's just not the same. You can see a lot of hesitancy, and you can see when he gets hit. Like, Pacquiao hit him a couple of times with, like, really nice jabs and a couple left hands and stuff, and you can just see his reaction. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like to get hit anymore, and he's more willing to take a step back or hit the pause button than getting hit and giving it right back. You know what I mean? And that's another thing that I noticed. Do, 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 do. Yeah, Horton says, as a Filipino, I'm just glad Manny didn't lose. It took Barrios' corner until 9th round until Barrios to show him no respect. That should have been game. But yeah, that's facts, Mr. Fist. Facts. Who won? It was a majority draw. 2 judges gave it a draw, and 1 judge gave it to Barrios. So Barrios keeps his belts. Crook says he's hesitant because he don't want to be embarrassed by a 46-year-old. I mean, I guess. Yeah, maybe. Um, but you signed up for the fight. You signed up for the fight, bro. Like, you got a belt on the line. Your career hasn't went the way that you wanted it to go as of late. Sign the dotted line. There's no bullshitting around. Like, to be honest with you, you got to approach it the way Mike Tyson approached when he fought Larry Holmes. Larry Holmes had a bum knee, looked like, he was a shell of himself. But Mike Tyson went in there and took care of business pretty quick. And that's what you got to do. There's no, yeah, you might get a little pat on the back, for, oh, hey, you fought a legend, and thanks for not trying to break his neck. I guess you might get some people in the media that give you credit for that, but there's no special prize for a majority draw against a 46-year-old. It's boxing. It's a deadly sport. I'm pushing 40. I ain't fucking around and like, if I'm gonna sign the dotted line and fight a guy who's 25, no matter how strong or how fit I think I am at 40, if I sign that dotted line, like I want him to try to knock me out because maybe that's what I need. Maybe I need to get my ass humbled. Maybe I need to wake the fuck up and be like, hey, it's time to hang him up. Because here's the thing, Pacquiao fought his heart out tonight. He fought to a majority draw. Do you think this is the type of fight where he's going to go back home and say, well, maybe I should retire? Shit. In his mind, he thought he won the fight. So, in a crazy, fucked up way, if you go in there and knock out the older guy, then you're kind of doing him a favor. You're doing him a favor because get that age, you're trying desperately not to let it go. And like I said, there's no special prize that you get at the end of 12 rounds and you went 12 with the 46-year-old and you respected the legend or this, that, or whatever. So was he scared of Pacquiao? I don't think so. Um, I I think he's got, like I said earlier, I think he's got some issues, man, about taking some punishment in big fights. He's had some bones broken and he's been beat up a couple of times and he's been in a couple of wars. And I just think his punch resistance isn't there. And yeah, like you step in front of Pacquiao and let him throw punches, even at 46, he can tap you up. He can he's you know he's shit. He's trying to win too. So yeah, but if it's like to my boy Fist's point from round one, or not even then, like in training camp as you're preparing for this fight, you're going up against a guy like Pacquiao. Um, and I got a fighter like Barrios. I'm just gonna say, look, man, you keep a tight guard, you step to him, keep your head off the line, and you just dig in the body the whole night. Just the whole night, you digging into the body, left hooks to the body, double up to the jab of the body. Stay close to him. Use your length, use your size, use your youth. Force Pacquiao to punch more, force Pacquiao, his 46-year-old legs, force him to move a lot more. If you just continue to keep that space and let Pacquiao be in a rhythm and you're never going to the body, like, what's the point? You take the older man into deep waters and, utilize the jab really well, work it up and down and just dig to the body, try to take him to the ropes. That's it. I mean, you shouldn't be worried about getting caught if you stay nice and tight, kind of like peekaboo, not a peekaboo style, but just a high tight guard. Um, Pacquiao is going to double jab you right, left hand down the pipe. He's going to, work around you and throw big combinations. But Mario Barrios is not Margarito. He's not a walking punching bag. He's young enough. He's better than that. I think that he could do more, and he didn't. So it is what it is. Mm. Yeah, I mean, Ugas just, he's a boxer, right? So use your length, use your boxing IQ, move around the ring, place good punches. I mean, and that was what, 5 years ago already? So look, for all the people out there who are 30 years old and younger, 35 and younger, once you hit 40 and you get 41, 42, like every year you go past is like night and day difference from going from 30 to 31. and 31 to 32. Like going 40 to 41 and then 41 to 42. And like the way you age is like expedited by another 30%. So it makes a huge difference. And people are going back and looking at the Ugas fight. You can't, because that was like what, 4 or 5 fucking years ago. Um, he's a lot older, and it makes a huge difference. If you say, oh, he fought when he was 31 and then he fought at 36. Okay, little bit slower, little bit slower, but 41 to 46, huge difference, huge. Hey, Grayson, man, shit, I'm just keeping it a buck, keeping it 100, man. Like, um, yeah, like I'm gonna be 40 early next year, bro. Like, it is what it is. It's a hard thing to accept. And the one thing I have respect for Pacquiao is at 46 years old, the amount of discipline it takes and dedication it takes to be able to go 12 rounds in a professional boxing match is nothing to sneeze at, nothing to discard. Like, it's the crazy amount of dedication and discipline, because when you're 28, 29, 30, you can fuck around for a whole year and then, oh shit, I got to fight. You get back in shape in 4 months. But if you're 45 and you fuck around for a whole year, eating like shit and partying and smoking, drinking, whatever the case may be, and then you try to get back in the ring, the effects of that 1 year, it could be detrimental. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? So you got to be consistent year in, year out. And Manny Pacquiao does. He lives and breathes, through fitness and health. And as a man who has built a career on fitness and health, I respect that a lot. I admire it even. Like, you just can't turn a blind eye to that, man. Um, but with that being said, did Mario Barrios do his job tonight? No, he didn't. He didn't. And if Mario Barrios goes back home tonight, he knows, you know, at at the at the press conference, he might be like, "Oh, Manny Pacquiao's a legend, and I'm glad I went 12 with him. He's still in great shape. He's this, that, and whatever," feeding into the media on how great Manny Pacquiao is at 46. But I know damn good and well when he goes home, he's gonna be like, "Damn, I just went 12 rounds with a guy who's 16 years older than me, and not just 16 years older than me, but a guy who has been in crazy amount of wars." Like, have you guys forgot how many wars Pacquiao's been in his career? Marquez, Morales, Cotto, you know, he's been up against some big punchers too. Um, and you let a guy with that much, I don't know, wear and tear, I guess you can say, through, yeah, Barrera, like, and 16 years older than you, like, go in there and take you 12? I don't know. Kudos to Pacquiao, but if I'm Barrios, it's gonna be that's gonna be a tough one to swallow, in my opinion. What's up, K Rod? Good to see you alive and well. Somebody asked me a question earlier. Oh, what's up, Blade? Blade says, "Will you be live for the Crawford and Canelo in September?" Absolutely, yes. And if you guys haven't watched my 2 videos that I just posted about that fight, go on my channel right now. Check them out. I've already got the wheels turning. Part 1, I talked more about the basics, tail of the tape, and then part 2, I got into the styles. And those of you who've been following me in years past know how I do it when I break down the styles. I don't just talk about it. I display it. I display how I see the fighters um, fight, the styles that they portray in the ring, and the keys to victory. So if you haven't watched those two videos, make sure you go back and check it out. Um, but yes, I will be live during the. I'll call it. I'll call the fight, and I'll probably call it by myself. But immediately afterwards, I'll probably open a panel for people to come in and leave their post-fight thoughts because I have a feeling it's going to be lit. um, and then maybe a week out, or maybe 2 weeks out from the fight, I'll open a panel for the kind of final debate on who they think is going to win the fight. So, yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for a fight to bring me out of the woodwork for a while, just kind of watching some channels on here on the sidelines. Not really motivated to make videos, to be honest, just because of all of the silliness and drama and political bullshit on these YouTube streets. I'm too damn old to be dealing with that shit. But nonetheless, after Wilder um, went through all of the ups and downs and some other fighters that I was really supporting, I just took a big break and I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a big fight, and we've been waiting. We've been talking about this for years, a Crawford and Canelo matchup. A lot of us were, and it's finally here. And there's a lot at risk. There's a lot at risk, man, at that fight. People don't realize it. I don't think people really fully realize it, but there's a lot at risk. Um, and then I'll probably, I'm just letting you guys know my agenda for the channel. We'll give a post-fight thoughts about the Usyk fight, and I will uh, just talk about Usyk in general and how I have him ranked right now as an all-time great. Like, because he's ranked. Like, if you don't have him placed on an all-time list, not just of this decade, not just of this era, but an all-time list, he's got to be somewhere. He better be somewhere on that top top 10. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. He's got to be top 10. Top 10, man. I mean, he's in the conversation now with the Ali's and the Fraziers and the Foremans and Sonny Listons and whoever you got up in there. Like, because it's not just heavyweight that he's currently dominating, but people conveniently forget that he was also undisputed at cruiser. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna dig into that because I still feel like there's people out there hating on Usyk. But I mean, who else do you want him to fight? When it comes to the heavyweight division right now, I mean, who's there? I mean, Anthony Joshua. He come on, man. Was like the only two guys that were previously ranked in the top five that he hasn't fought yet is Joshua and Wilder. But both of those guys aren't nearly the same as what they were 5 years ago. So, yeah. Grayson, bro, like I've heard some crazy shit on here. I've heard some crazy shit on here about people talking shit about Usyk. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I meant. Of course, Usyk fought Joshua. My bad. Is Wilder is the only guy that he hasn't fought that was at one time a top five or a top three heavyweight. That's pretty much the only guy, in my opinion, that if Wilder was still that guy, then of course Usyk should fight him. But he's not. As much as I love Wilder, as much as I have come on here and took bullets for Wilder, and I'll continue to support what Wilder has done for the sport, despite how much hate he gets now. But you guys know I keep it real no matter what. Wilder is not the same. So what I'm saying is that Usyk has cleaned up the division. And not only did he beat Joshua once, he beat him twice. Convincingly. Convincingly. And Fury. And Dubois twice. So yeah, I'm ready to have that conversation with anybody, to be honest. If he is not like ranked currently right now, and he's not even retired yet, if he is not on your top 10, arguably top 5 all-time great heavyweight list, then you and I are going to have issues. Because I want, like, if he's not in your top 10, I want 10 guys. I want the other 10 guys that you have above him, and why. So I would be hard pressed to believe that you can find 10 other guys to put above Usyk, both resume wise, and also you can put Usyk in almost any era too. That's the thing. You can put Usyk in almost any era, and he would be a winner. Let that soak in for a second. Do I think Usyk could beat? I mean, let's talk about it real quick. Maybe I shouldn't, because I'd be giving some of you guys on here be doing debates and stuff about this shit, and then you'd be taking what I say on these videos and you ammunition as if you created it. So I know how you guys are operating out here. You guys are sneaky. Don't give Divine Sense no damn credit. But it's all good, because I ain't doing no debates anyways, or at least nobody ever wants to debate me. But fuck it, for the sake of conversation. If you were to put Usyk up against the late '90s, early 2000s, when you had Holyfield, you had Lennox Lewis, and you had Tyson. Maybe Tyson's more like early '90s, I would say, for his prime, but nonetheless, Mike Tyson was, still in the mix when he got out of prison. Do I think Usyk can beat those guys? Yeah. I mean, he for damn sure can beat Holyfield, in my opinion, and he for sure can beat the late '90s, early 2000s Mike Tyson. And Lennox is my only one where that would be a tough one. That would be a tough one for me. Lennox, with his size and length, his jab, would be interesting. And then you take another step back and you go early '90s, late '80s, right? Could Usyk beat those guys? Right? Because essentially, and then you got the '70s of the Alis and the Frazier and the Foremans. You got to, if you're gonna not put Usyk in your current top 10, then you have to basically say to me that those guys would beat him. Like, they're better than him skill wise. Because in me, when I make a pound for pound list, or I make a whatever division list, top 10 heavyweight, top 10 cruiserweight, etc., it's not just your resume. The resume matters, but it's also, in my head, I'm thinking, can I put this guy above this guy, because I also think that guy can beat that guy. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I look at it too. And it's hard to compare eras, because it goes back to the whole Jordan versus LeBron and Jordan Kobe type shit, because different eras and different rules. And then you had 15 rounds, and then you had that. Still, if it's a 6 round fight, who would win? That anyway. That's how my mind works. But um, last thing I want to say here is I don't want to go live too long. Um, is real quick thoughts about Pacquiao again as I close this up. Does this majority draw decision hurt Pacquiao's legacy? No, not at all. Will Pacquiao continue to be remembered as a legend? Yes. Um, and the fact that he has conquered multiple weight classes, multiple time champion, what he's done, for the Philippines, what he's done for boxing, he will be remembered as an all-time great. Where you have him or where I have him on the list, it's like he never retires. So you never know what he's really going to do. It's like he may go in there and fight Tank Davis and knock him out or some crazy shit. I don't know. But as of today, he is still in the conversation of for sure of this generation, of this era. Just for having the Moraleses and the Barreras and the Marquezes on his resume, and at the end of the day, the timing of Pacquiao Mayweather wasn't the best, but he still fought Mayweather. He fought Margarito. He fought Cotto. He's kind of like a throwback fighter in a new era of boxing. He has a lot of fights on his resume. He has a lot of names on his resume, and you got to give that credit. And not just that, but a lot of rematches and trilogies, stuff that the older fighters used to do, the Sugar Ray Robinsons and the Jake LaMotta's and stuff like that, right? Within the same division as well. 140 up to, you can say 140 to 160. So he's a throwback fighter. And I think that within itself deserves a lot of credit. Do I put him above Sugar Ray Leonard or Tommy Hearns or Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya? Probably not. But that can be another topic for another time. But look, man, I appreciate everyone who's dropped by. Just know that I'm active again, so be on the lookout for my videos. Make sure you hit that notification bell if you haven't hit it already. I don't want you guys to miss any of my content, because I'm not one of these guys that are going to be posting 5 videos a week. You might get 3 videos a month, but it's going to be quality, so you don't want to miss it. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Be on the lookout for when I go live, so you don't miss any good debates. And debates on my channel are always done out of good faith, professional, respectful, and we get down to the dirt, to the nitty gritty of boxing, and really dissect the sport the way the sport should be dissected. And I try my best to do it in a way, lead by example, by talking about boxing and not allowing my emotions to dictate my judgment. So that's it, guys. I'm gonna get up off here. So thanks for those who dropped in. You guys have a great rest of your Saturday night, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Be on the lookout, man. Be on the lookout for Usyk video, more on Crawford and Canelo, and yeah.